Hello there. Honest to God, how are you doing? Hey Violet. Welcome to my channel, guys, Joey Barnett TV. This is my second upload of today, and the reason why I'm uploading is because I'm having a day off of work, and rightly so, eh? Before I go on, this chain keeps popping out, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, before I go on, I had to have a little cough there because I've been diagnosed with emphysema. But I'm not going to bang on about emphysema because I'm fit, I'm healthy as far as I'm concerned. I'm on medication for my emphysema, which is steroids and a pump. It's not a steroid pump. It's a Necklace or something like that. I'll post it. I'll post what the medication what I'm on later on. But yeah, what it's doing is the steroid is it's offloading all the crap off of my lungs. And when I do take, it's 2 capsules. They're 250 mils each. And when I do take them, about an hour later, I do start to feel like stuff coming up off my lung. It's not phlegm, by the way. It's not horrible and things and gritty and gooey. It just looks like normal spit, to be honest with you. But yeah, I ain't gonna be talking about that. It's a bit nasty, isn't it? Anyway, I promised one of my viewers that I would be doing a video to help him out about prison officers, and the reason why I like doing these type of videos is because of now I can see both sides of the coin. Obviously, I've spent 3 decades in prison. I've got a lot of experience around prison officers, be it good, be it bad, mostly bad, but there was a few good ones, what I call decent screws anyway, and mainly they're the old school ones, the ones that have been in a job for many, many years, know the score and know how to treat long-term inmates. Now, there's a lot of difference between even these short-term remand jails or holding centres to long-term as jails. There's a hell of a lot of difference. In these short-term jails, you've mostly got people doing little sentences, and they're running around like headless chickens, flipping people and you know, and bashing people up, and all the violence what is in these jails today is on another level, and that's down to spice, by the way. That is, but I'll be doing another video about that altogether. But yeah, what I'm saying, guys, is there is a bit of difference between long-term jails and short-term jails. As I said, short-term jails, the inmates in there don't really give a flying fuck because they're going home in a few months or a few years maximum. Even if they lose all their time, their remission, you know, and unless they get outside charges, they're going home. And a lot of these short-term prisoners are full of youngsters, and they're all out to prove a point. So someone like me going into them short-term prisons nowadays is a big no-no as far as I'm concerned, because they'd want to, it's sad to say, but they want to take me out just to climb the ladder and say they've done Joey Barnett, you know. Not saying I've got a big reputation outside or even inside, but what I can say is I'm very well known, and there will be inmates in jail still today, 25 years later, what remember me, because I spent 3 decades in there. So yeah, the screws in these short-term jails, remand centres, holding centres, whatever you want to call them. My locals was Wormwood Scrubs, Pentonville, Wandsworth, Brixton, them type of jails. And I'll tell you something now, there's a hell of a lot of violence in them. There really is. You'd think there's more violence in long-term jails, but there isn't. They're laid back. The violence is all in the short-term jails. The buttons going all the time, the panic button, the screws. And I believe the screws are under a lot of pressure too, you know. It's a bit of a, now I can see the other side of the coin. It's you know, it's a job what you can honestly say to yourself, you know, you might not come home from, because let's get it straight, everyone's in jail for reasons, you know. It's because they've been naughty outside. Normally it's because they're a naughty person. So yeah, it does take some balls to be a prison officer, you know. It's not just about the money, because let's get it straight, there's a lot more inmates in jail than what there is screws. So, you know, they have got to have some minerals to do that job, you know. But anyway, yeah, so I'm muffing on, but I do like muffing on, you know what I mean. I do like to tell the story properly. That's the thing with me. I don't like doing half stories. When I was in short-term jails, especially Wandsworth, there was a few screws in there. I'm not going to mention no names, because I don't like doing that. But there was a few screws in there. What had been in the system for a very, very long term. They went by the book. They wouldn't give you nothing. You know, you wouldn't ask them for nothing. And they treated you with respect, because they've been in the job for so long. They've seen it, they've been in it, they've done it. They've dealt with all types of inmates. And it's them types of old school screws what I call decent, you know. Not the ones that you can be manipulated or reeled in, and you know them. I didn't like them screws. I prefer the screws that actually went by the book and done their job properly. There's nothing like going up to a screw and asking him a question. I don't know, it could be about your family, it could be about anything, you know. It could be about something in prison, and they say they don't know, you know, or fill out an application form. And that's what a lot of the young screws lack in, is experience. I mean, it comes along the way, but yeah. So what I can say, if you want to, let me have a drop of this drink first. I'm gonna be flying in a minute. If you want to become a screw, or you have become a screw, and you're in them short-term jails, all I can say is keep it short and sweet with inmates. Don't hang over the landings talking to them like they're your friends, because they're not your friends. It's a job to you. And you certainly wouldn't be entertaining people like that outside, would you? Because obviously they're criminals. You're not a criminal, and it don't mix, you know. It just don't mix, does it? So don't get in any heavy discussions with them, especially when they're talking about family, because you know that's when emotions are running high. And then they could, you know, if you do fall into that trap, that you know that they're going to use you as like an agony aunt, and then when you're not there, you know, it could turn funny. So my advice is don't get too friendly with anyone in there. Go by the book. You know, don't tell inmates that you're going to do stuff and then you can't do it, because that inmate will hold a grudge. I've done it myself, you know. I've asked a screw for something, and he said, yeah, a phone call. Let's say a phone call. Well, I've been locked up 23-hour bang up in Swellside. Yeah, you're banged up. If you ain't working, you're banged up. You know, for instance, I asked the screw if I could make a call in the afternoon because something had happened in my family, and he said yes. And then all day I'm pacing up and down my cell waiting for the screw to let me out to make the phone call, but he didn't. So when I did see him that later on in the afternoon, when I went to get my bit of food, I went up to him. You know, I didn't attack him, but I gave him a proper mouthful and I let him know what was what. Because at the end of the day, you know, doing a long sentence like I was doing, 13 years, even if I whacked a screw, you know, them days, if I whacked a screw, you wouldn't go outside. There wouldn't be outside charges. It'd be inside, and you'd lose remission. But nowadays, you know, it's completely changed. If you whacked a screw nowadays, you'd definitely be going outside court, having big charges put on you, and getting a big sentence for it. So I don't advise that. But yeah, you know, I cunted that screw right off at the end of the day, and he come out of some cock and bull story. So that's what I'm saying to you. Do not, if you're joining up, or you're in that neck of the woods for work, prison officers, secure call, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what it is nowadays, what take them to and from courts. And you know, to me, a screw is a screw, and there'll always be screws. So yeah, don't promise anyone anything what you can't follow through. if anything, you know, if they ask for something, you're new in the game and you don't know, tell them you'll be back ASAP with the information, and then, you know, go and get the information and give it back to that inmate. You know, a bit of courtesy, and what goes a long way in prison is respect. That really, really does. You know, just because they're inmates, you know, I don't mean to say you lose respect for them. You must give everyone respect. That is what it's all about. And when you can learn respect and give respect, you'll get respect back. It really is. But yeah, then these short-term jails, you know, there is a lot of violence in them, especially today with the drug academic spice, and all the other crap what's in there. There wasn't so much violence when I done my bird, but nowadays there is. Sorry about the glare on his glasses, but unfortunately, when I'm reading, I need to put them on. I know I'm not reading now, but yeah, you know, you just get used to them, don't you? But in the long-termers jails now, it's completely different spectrum, different ball game. Some inmates in long-termers jails, not me, but some long-termer jail inmates in long-termer jails do get friendly with screws. You know, it wasn't unusual, or it wasn't out of the ordinary if, you know, I was on association when I was in Whitemore or Long Larton or one of them long-termers jails doing that big lump of sentence what I got. You know, it wasn't unusual, it weren't out of the ordinary if I walked past someone's cell and there's a screw in there drinking a cup of coffee in there, and even having a cheeky roll-up, because that used to happen all the time. So yeah, in long-termers jails, prison officers do get friendly with inmates, and that's probably because they know that the inmate's doing a big sentence. He's got respect. He's been in the system for many years, knows his score, and he feels comfortable with the inmate. Then I can say, you know, then you could probably have a chat, but do not ever mention about your family. You'll get told that in the job description anyway, code of conduct and things like that. Not to get friendly with inmates, but it does happen in long-termers jails. It really does. And it's not unusual to walk down the landing in the long-termers jails and seeing screws hanging over the landing, talking to inmates for X amount of time. You know, that used to happen, but to me, you know, it wasn't my cup of tea. I never ever got friendly with any screws. There was a few old school screws, as I said, what knew me from years ago, because I've been in the system since I was 13, 14 years of age. So yeah, there was a few screws that I used to say hello to and asked a few bits and pieces to, but that's just about as far as it went. But yeah, I did get respect from screws. They know what you're in for, every single inmate, you know. I was a bit of a live wire going through my big sentence, because at the end of the day, that's what got me through my sentence, the excitement. Not doing all your bird behind the door, boring, you know. I used to get up to shit in there. I was a prison tattooist for one, and my cell was never ever empty on association time. You know, the inmates were lining up for having tattoos done, because I've done it I was doing it outside too. So yeah, I was a good tattooist, so I was very well looked after in there. And then days, I'll put a massive name, like right away from your elbow down to your wrist, on the back of your arm, or on your leg, or anything like that, across you, anywhere you wanted it. I'll do that for ½ ounce of tobacco, because that you was allowed to smoke in jail them days. And yeah, my cell was always full of snout, let's put it that way. But yeah, do I miss prison? I miss the laughs, because, you know, although it's a dark place, prison, because I spent so many years in there, you know, their memories will last with me forever. Could I do bird nowadays? Definitely not. But yeah, that's my advice to prison officers. Yeah, keep yourself to yourself. You know, don't go in there acting flash, or don't go in there acting hard, poking your chest out, you know, walking like a big hard man down the landing. Even if you are a big man, try and take that away from yourself, because you don't want other inmates looking at you thinking, look at that Larry bastard. You know, that's a big no-no, it really is. But just be yourself, you know. What you are outside is what you should be inside. You shouldn't be wearing a mask. You shouldn't be acting differently apart from being around your family outside, obviously. But that's the way you should carry on in jail. Just keep yourself to yourself. If someone asks you something, give them a bit of respect back, and answer their question, you know, and you'll be all right. You really will be all right. So, guys, as I said, I'm going to be uploading quite a few videos today because I'm off work because it's pouring down and raining, and I've got a roofing job going on. So, yeah, that's the reason why I'm at home today. Well, I'm out at the minute doing this video. But, yeah, guys, have a great day, and I'll be back at you soon. Peace.